And in today's episode, I have this long, overdrawn video that I want to do for you for this 556 build I've been working on. I call it the XOLO, or the XOLO Esquinty, if you are familiar with the term. And shout out to owners who have XOLO Esquinties. This build is kind of featured after a XOLO Esquinty, and its unique look and feature. So, with that said, I kind of want to talk about what I've done with this build. Some of you kind of know some of the parts because I've put it on the YouTube Shorts, but I kind of want to talk about it in a little bit more detail on a longer video than a short. So, starting with the butt of the gun, and my least favorite thing about this build is going to be the stock. I'm going to replace this mainly because of this. This is not to spec for some reason, and that's okay. This thing was cheap. It came with a kit that I bought for, I think, the KS-47 a long time ago, and I just found the reason to use this because I have a 16-inch barrel and I didn't want issues with the ATF. I really won't go too much more into that. So this is that. I'm gonna replace this with something much more efficient here real soon. But I kind of wanted to get this thing just up and cycling to see if it actually functions. I'm sure it does. But this is just so that I can complete this daggone build. Past that, shout out to 833 Tactical. Again, they had this tungsten buffer tube that I wanted for this whole build. It just looks great, right? And then the capsule nut, and I went with a quick disconnect end plate for my QD mounts. Really like that. It kind of helps with the overall sling, which I'll get into. Okay, so going down here, I run this ATI tactical pistol grip, mainly due to the ergonomics and the rubber backing. So this kind of helps you absorb some recoil, some felt recoil. And this kind of helps with the ergonomics to fit your hands. I keep forgetting about what's inside of this buffer too, but in here I have the Armor Spec SRS Gen 4, and I have videos about that and why I use that here on my channel if you want to check that out and how that works. But in short, the SRS from Armor Spec allows you to, one, get rid of that buffer tube twang sound with the mil spec buffer springs, and those kind of suck. They sound terrible. And this helps with it helps mitigate a lot of recoil. My 5.7 feels like 22, and I'm sure this is going to feel like 5.7. So I can't wait to actually try this out because I'm going to throw one of my KS-47 and eventually my 8.6 Blackout and see if I can really reduce that recoil. All right, so back on topic here. My safety selector is both equal length levers. So I have equal length levers on it, courtesy of my friend who I went out to shoot with. So that suggested I get those, and I did. Love them. Probably will always get these from Primary Arms, pretty cheap. I think it's around like $20 something. I think I paid more in shipping than anything, and I don't even know how that works. But tungsten takedown pins, you see that, just to add a little flair to the build. For the charging handle, this is an Ambi Battle Arms charging handle. This is really the only brand that I use for charging handles due to the girth that it has and just the slide ability. And when you pull that slide, you know that you have some quality. I really like Battle Arms for this. I'm gonna give a nice shout out here to good old 833 Tactical for my optics. This is a RD50 they sent out for me to test out on the channel, and this is a ×3 magnifier. I will though be swapping this out for LPVO so I can reach out and touch targets at 300, 400, 500 yards with this thing. I should be able to do that with this thing. But again, I want to say give a shout out to 833 Tactical for their willingness to support channels like Focused Hands and smaller channels that we don't get the same kind of flow with some of the larger channels, but we out here putting in that work. So kudos to you. If you want something or need something for your build, I suggest you check them out because the stuff is quality. They're just not spending millions of dollars in advertising, and a lot of their stuff is by us reviewers advertising for them. So I've shot their stuff for literally a year now, and they all still work. And I like the products. It's nice, pretty decent in pricing. I think this one, if you buy it from them, is like $84 with the cantilever, and I think this one was like, I want to say 70 something. Can't remember from the website, but yeah, they sent this out for me to review, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna go down to the trigger guard and trigger. So the trigger guard is an oversized trigger guard, so that I can fit a glove if it's cold. Thinking ahead, and it won't interfere with the trigger or me get into the trigger space to pull the trigger. One of my more least favorite things about this build is going to be the trigger itself. This trigger is a nickel Teflon trigger, and I got it honestly because it was cheap. It was like $34. And I know I'm going to replace this trigger at a later date with an iconic trigger that I have in my Komodo Dragon. So like I said, this is another one of those parts that likely will be upgraded really, really soon. But I wanted to get something out here to get it going. One thing I noticed about this trigger versus the iconic trigger that I have in the Komodo Dragon is when I go to rack and dry fire, this trigger takes a long time to rack on my charging candle versus the Komodo Dragon is real short, and that's just the difference in the trigger systems. That two-stage trigger from Rise Armaments is night and day different than this one, but this is still smooth. I mean, don't get me wrong, this trigger is still smooth and I like it, but this is like a budget build trigger versus my Komodo Dragon trigger. So this one will definitely be swapped out. All right, so moving back up, let's go to the side here. I have this Ford Essentials, Ford Controls dimpled magazine release for the wrong handers. Just add a little flair to the build up here, as you see here. Yeah. This is gone because you know why? I'm left-handed, and it's time that we start showing some respect for the left-handers in this world and not just the right-handed folk. So I went ahead and got me a billet upper, and this billet upper does not have forward assist. It doesn't have a forward assist because they don't make one for this NBS billet upper. And also, I really didn't want one for the build because I don't really use forward assist that often, to be honest. My shit kind of cycles like it's supposed to, and I can just, pull the charging can a little bit and release it and send it home. I haven't really ever had an issue with anything like that, to be honest. Some people may have that issue. I've never run across an issue with the BCG getting stuck like halfway or something like that. It may happen to me in the future and it may come back to bite me, but I doubt it. Never really had that issue. So on this side here for the BCG, didn't cheap out on this. Got a nickel boron BCG 556 300 blackout. I guess 223 wild as well, but it's nice. It's real slippery, real slick. You can tell the difference between the mil spec BCG and a nickel boron BCG. I went with a Ford Controls magazine release for left-handers, is what you're seeing here, and I got the BAD or Battle Arms boat catch there. Just to add a little flair. Just add a little flair to the build. This one is very important for the right right-handed shooters, which is left-handed shooters. You need this because of the other side. So switching back over to this side, we're going to again look at Grindel Hunter and their nice handguard, as you can see. Guess I'll flip back over here so you can actually see it, shall we? And look at the work that they've done for this bad boy here. All the way up with an angled cut here. Beautiful, beautiful handguard. This thing is super light. If I took this off and just held it in my hand, I mean, maybe an ounce. This thing weighs maybe an ounce. It's crazy light and crazy strong. They do some good work over at Grendel Hunter. And the best thing is it's made in the USA. So if you want to support USA stuff, Grendel Hunter is a good place to do that. If you want to support US made stuff. All right, basic. I got a basic gas tube and gas block in here. It doesn't have. I mean, it's not adjustable or anything like that. Once I start shooting suppress with this, I'll change that out with an adjustable gas block and whatnot. But nothing real important there. Let's flip this back over. All right, so I wanted to go with a somewhat matching sling. This sling, I think, is from Strike Armaments. It is their Wolf Gray sling. Beautiful sling. I got it set up for my, movements prone, kneeling, and standing. Moving in and out of engagements is set up to what I like right now. And all the way at the front up here would be the famous zeroed CMMG zeroed linear compensator or blast forward device. This thing is 1.5 inches long, and I mean it handles, I would say, recoil and sound like a champ. This thing just blasted forward. I have nothing but great things to say about this. I use it on my Goblin. I'm using it on my 5.56. Probably going to use it if they have it for my KS-47. And I went with a different version of this on the Komodo Dragon due to the color. I needed, an FDE color to match it, so I didn't use that for the Komodo Dragon. But for the XOLO Esquinty, which this build is named after, it is going to work very well. And last but not least, we'll talk about my quick disconnect mounts or quick disconnector swivel heads. These are GGG, both of them. I got them from Primary Arms, and Primary Arms out in Houston, I believe. They they got it here pretty quick. I was able to get in and out, buy this online, have it shipped up here, in and out. Shipping is a little expensive, I got to admit, but they're in Texas, so got to support Texas. And even Ford Controls is in Midlothian, Texas, which is literally right down the street from me. So it's good to know that some of these places that I shop at they're in Texas and or they're made in the USA. So I kind of want to start buying some more stuff USA made. So the last thing about this build will be the magazines. I have some 10 round mags in the room, and I have some 30 rounders coming with the window that they're not here yet, but I do have the 10 rounders in the room, but I mean you'll be able to see that when we're out at the range. But that's the build. That's kind of what I'm going for. This will kind of be my mid-ranger, 200, 300, 400 yards, 500 yards, reach out and touch them at 500 yards type build. But I got to get out to the range and train with this to start getting better, because I haven't done much range time in the 300, 400, 500 yard marks, and this will definitely help me do that. The A6 Blackout will definitely help me do that for sure. So if you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check back in for this video or the next video, because we're going to be firing this thing for the first time to make sure it actually cycles. Past that, I need to do a couple of videos on focus, so I got to get updated on that. So if you focus heads want to know what's going on with the ST I got in the garage, I'll be updating that here real soon. But for those that want to see how this XOLO Esquinty shoots, stay tuned. Focused hands.